Oh boy, I can't wait to post my thesis film on youtube.com to my 200 subscribers. Hello everyone. So, I thought it would be good to do a little channel update video considering there are a lot more of you now, and there have been a lot of questions. So without further ado,
Top 10 questions I've been getting a lot of.
Starting with the hardball questions. Number 1. Are you going to be making more Puzzle and Sling? This is the big one I've been getting, and it's tricky because the bottom line is I would love to. I actually have a 16-episode, 2-season-long overarching story plotted out, and 3 other characters you guys don't even know about. But there are a lot of factors right now that are keeping me from doing that, which I will now get into. The first factor is, Puzzle and Sling were made with the intention of lasting for a single 10-minute stop-motion film, and I only created one set model of each of them. They were not made to last long. In stop motion, the industry standard is that you make multiple interchangeable parts for a character's limbs, especially if those limbs are made of twisted wire like mine were. I did not do that. As of right now, both Puzzle and Sling's arms are ripped out of their sockets, and Puzzle's neck is broken, so in order for me to make more, I would need to create a bunch of duplicates of both Puzzle and Sling. And this leads into the second factor. Stop motion is expensive. I planned well enough for the film that it only ended up costing me about $225 to make. But that low cost was very much due to the fact that my school had stop motion shooting and fabrication resources for me to use. If I were to create Puzzle and Sling for the long term, it would probably cost me way more. The camera I was using at LCAT alone cost 4 times as much as my entire film. So, with that being said,
I've started a Patreon.
When I was first getting into stop motion and mixed media animation, I found that it was really hard to find good sources for learning the basics, not to mention stop motion safety. One of my biggest passions is ranting about stop motion techniques, so if you subscribe to my Patreon, I'll be making stop motion tutorials once a month. What I've learned in the 60 years I've been doing this, what I wish I knew when I was first starting out, how to not give yourself cancer from toxic microplastics, etc., etc., etc. I saw a lot of people also asking me about my methods, and that's what the Patreon will be for. Yippee! That Patreon money will go towards me possibly making more Puzzle and Sling in the future, which would be so much fun. Number 2. Are Puzzle and Sling siblings in a platonic friendship, in love, or toxic Yuri? Alright, so this one will be a little tricky to answer without spoiling future plot details, but Puzzle and Sling are not siblings. I'm queer myself, so I know how frustrating it is to be queer-baited, and I absolutely don't want my art to queer-bait its audience because that sucks. I don't think gender or sex in general is something Puzzle and Sling are very concerned with. I never really think of my character's sexuality or gender unless I am specifically making a commentary about gender, because I feel it's unnecessary. I also tend to think of my characters in a romantic sense rather than a sexual one. So if I had to put labels on it, in summary, Puzzle and Sling both identify as girls. They are both, I guess, biromantic and asexual, and as of right now, I would describe their relationship as platonic divorced parents who both have a lot of personal flaws to work through before they attempt to be in any sort of romantic relationship. Yay! Number 3. Will there be subtitles in other languages for Puzzle and Sling? Yes! The film is currently adapted into French, Russian, and Spanish because I had been working with some absolutely lovely translators. If you'd like to apply to translate Puzzle and Sling, I've linked a Google form in the description, so yeah. Number 4. If you won't be working on Puzzle and Sling in the future, what will you be working on? As of right now, I'm in the process of developing a choose-your-own-adventure musical. I'm halfway through writing the music for it, and I'm really excited. More details on that will come later, don't you fret. Number 5. What inspired Puzzle and Sling the most? I'd say my 3 biggest inspirations were probably Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Sid and Marty Krofft shows, specifically Lidsville, and Super Milk Chan. Go check those out because they rule. They are really fun. Number 6. Are you gonna be making more merch of Puzzle and Sling? Because the stickers ended up doing way better than I thought they would, I'm actually in the process of getting some really fun acrylic keychains made. If those end up doing well, I might just, I don't know, make other stuff, who knows? Number 7. How long have Puzzle and Sling existed in your head? This is a really fun one. When I was a kid, I originally wanted to be a comic strip artist before I found out my love for animation, and Puzzle and Sling were originally some of my old comic strip characters I would doodle for myself on my homework and junk. So Puzzle and Sling have existed in my head since, I want to say 2014. Their original names were Ponder and Yawn. There's actually a small Easter egg in Puzzle and Sling in the opening theme song where there are 2 graves that say Ponder and Yawn because I ended up not using those names for them anymore. Yawn turned into Sling because at some point I decided that they both needed weapons for killing boredom, which I eventually axed, and Sling had a slingshot. Sling doesn't have a slingshot anymore, obviously, but I decided to keep the name because I liked it, and I liked that it had a double meaning of something being pulled really taut and then being let go and causing destruction, and that it's also like a device used for healing something that had been broken. Puzzle's name is Puzzle because I'm lazy. Number 8. What instruments do you play? Currently, I play the ukulele and the accordion as well as a little bit of cello. I'm definitely the most well-versed in the uke since I've been self-taught with it for 10 years now, and I'm definitely the least versed in cello since I only took it for like half a year. I usually write all my songs with ukulele and accordion in mind. Number 9. How do you feel about indie animation? This is a really broad one, and I love that. I love indie animation, and it's something that I've grown up with. You know, I grew up on Newgrounds, I grew up watching YouTube, you know, that kind of thing, so I'm so happy that it's getting so much more recognition now, and I'm like, oh, it's so exciting. And finally, number 10. Did you ever think Puzzle and Sling would get this popular? Not in a million years, especially since it's a stop motion project. Stop motion is really hard to come by, and seeing so many people confirm to me that stop motion is something that a lot of other people are also passionate about, it made me really emotional. These past few months have been so surreal. It's really hard to put into words how just like insane this has been for me. I've gotten so much support and beautiful fan art and edits and videos, and as someone who grew up as a neurodivergent queer kid, fandom spaces were the only places where I truly felt accepted and where I felt like I could express myself creatively. All I've ever wanted and all I could ever ask for is to create a space where at least one person could experience that feeling. In a lot of ways, that's what Puzzle and Sling meant to me, and to see what I created becoming that for people, it's incredible. It's really been a humbling experience. So that's it. Thank you all so much for asking questions. This was so much fun. Once this video is up, the Patreon will be live. I've linked that along with the translator application in the description. See you later! And as always, thank you for coming to the show.